You know what I'm trying to say? It was last night I watched something on the 1960s on PBS. Oh, the fucking channel that all the Republicans hate. The fucking channel out there. I don't understand why they don't have a fucking conservative PBS. Instead of those fucking assholes whining, oh, how much is this gonna cost? If that fucking thing was saying some shit that you assholes enjoyed on the other side, right, you would be all over it. We need this. We need this for our children. I actually would say that no matter how conservative you are, you would actually enjoy this thing that I watched last night. I think it was called The Death of the 60s. The day the 1960s died or something like that. And it just combined all the events that were going on. Nixon, Vietnam, and Kent State. And I got to tell you, man, the shit that those fucking students were doing was like you would get life in jail now. Life imprisonment. They fucking, like, there was a National Guard reserve building and Kent State students just lit it on fire. It was a raging fucking fire. They lit the fucking thing up. An absolute fucking inferno. The fire department showed up. They attacked the firemen and took knives out and were trying to cut their hoses. Can you imagine doing that now post 9/11? I don't even know where, you know. So, the National Guard shows up. I'm really slow. I'm fucking blowing through all this. They're like fucking 300 feet, 300 yards away, something fucking ridiculous. They just fire into the crowd. They kill 4 kids. This is what kills me. I didn't realize this. First of all, 1 kid got paralyzed. They don't bring that person up ever. That person does not have a Wikipedia page. You know? I don't fucking get that. Oh, you didn't die, so nobody gives a shit. And then 2 of the kids were just walking to class. They weren't even part of the protest. They were like, these kids are fucking nuts or whatever. And they're just going to class. And they got fucking whacked. And you have to watch this documentary. Like, Nixon was so fucking, like, bummed out. Actually, it was a human moment on the guy. Like, he actually stayed up all night in the White House and decided to go out to the Lincoln Memorial because he thought it was beautiful at night. Now, I don't know how he got in his chauffeured car. This is back when I think they had like a fucking, all they had was the fence around the White House. You know, there wasn't all those fucking guards or any of that shit. Because I remember going to D.C. in the early 80s. You could walk right up to that fence. I mean, there was security and shit, but it wasn't as visible. There wasn't all the Jersey barriers and all that shit that they have down there now. And he went out there and just wandered into the crowd and started talking to people. And they were all fucking freaked out. Like, it's the fucking president, man. And he was standing there in his suit, and they were sitting there in their hippie fucking protest shit. You got to see this thing. It's done so well that both sides, you see how they were wrong, and both sides you see how they were right. And then you also see the shit that fucking people are saying is so much like they're saying right now. Whereas before 9/11 and all this bullshit, if you were to watch it, you'd be like, wow, America was crazy back then. But ever since, like, 9/11, we've just been fucking screaming at each other and shit. So after Kent State, they were talking to some conservative people, and they said, what'd you think? And they were like, I thought they got what they deserved. It was actually a woman. She's like, I thought they got what they deserved. I'm just mad they didn't kill more of them. Said that on TV. And that's back when you could say it on TV. Somebody saw it and like, what the fuck did that bitch just say? And then that was it. She was gone. You could barely remember what she looked like. You didn't have a VCR. You didn't have a DVR recorder. There was nobody to take the clip and put it online and then find her on social media and shame the shit out of her. You could go on national fucking television after fucking the National Guard shot unarmed students and say, I'm only sad they didn't kill more of them, and then go to work the next day. And not have a fucking worry. Like, you almost forgot you even said it. Your husband comes home. Thought you're going to have dinner on the fucking table. I'm sorry. Ah! Right? What the fuck did you do today? Oh, I went shopping. Got some new boots. Bought a new necklace. Genuine white gold. And there was something else. I can't remember what. Somebody asked me something. There may or may not have been a microphone in a camera. But I'll say, like, what the students were doing was fucking nuts. What the government was doing was the same old shit they're always doing. You know, I think it was a little bit different with Vietnam, because I think they definitely had a concern about the spread of communism. I definitely think that was a legit fucking thing. I don't think it was just a straight up land grab, like, you know, natural resource, because there wasn't really any oil there as far as I know. Right? I'm just fucking cynical as fucking hell. I just think corporations decide, you know, the way the whole fucking thing is set up. And these fucking politicians are paid way too less money. They are so underpaid, and they are set up to be bribed. So the only way that the regular person can get a politician to do what they want is we would somehow have to pool all of our money and make a huge fucking donation as a group. And then we become a special interest group, and then we go off the rails, man. Anyway, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. You guys should definitely, like, check it out. But I was astounded at the behavior of the students, the level that they took it to. And I'm not saying that what the people on the other side in control were right, but they were doing what they always did. I just didn't know you could go that fucking hard. But it caused so many fucking people on the other side to get so fucking mad at these college kids. I mean, they went into town one day and they had a protest, screaming, yelling, like, provoking all these townspeople who were, like, conservative and didn't like the people at Kent State. And they went down, they broke a bunch of storefront windows. They kind of provoked some sort of violent response. Now, obviously, they didn't know it was going to go to that fucking level, but it's really fascinating to watch, because all I've ever seen is just like, and National Guards came in and they killed 4 students. And I'm like, what the fuck? But when you see what they were doing, you see, you know, the fucking frying pan into the fire, the shit that people were doing, how it got up to that. And I got to tell you, when you watch this thing, you will not believe the shit that people are saying that sounds exactly how people talk about politics today. A very extreme time. So I highly recommend it. Let me get the fucking name of it for you. You got to watch it, because obviously the way I just described it was probably fucking horrific. Let me see here. The Death of the 60s PBS. The Day the 60s Died. Oh, look at that. You can watch it online. You're at work. You're not working. Who's kidding who? All the fucking manufacturing that's been sent out of the country. You're not going to lose a digit if you press play on this. Go ahead. Full episode. The Day the 60s Died. Okay, The Day the 60s Died chronicles May 1970, the month in which 4 students were shot dead in Kent State. The mayhem that followed has been called the most divisive moment in American history since the Civil War. From college campuses to jungles. Only we're talking about them fighting in Cambodia, the Nixon White House. What I really liked about it is, and what's missing in so many documentaries today, is I just thought they presented the material. And I am a fan of anything that will, it humanized the students, and it also made them look like assholes. It humanized Nixon and also made people in power look like assholes. So at that point, I'm like, all right, now what you're showing me is essentially people, where it's like, you know, I had a good day here, I did a good thing, over here I did a bad thing. And then that's, you know, as opposed to be like, this person did this bad thing, that is what they are, that is all they are. You know, it's like that joke I do in my act about O.J. Simpson. Okay, yes, he killed 2 people. He also won a Heisman Trophy. I mean, let's try to tell the whole story here. Okay, allegedly. No, he was acquitted. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to tell. Can I read a little advertising here? All right.